Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Unofficial. My name's Dustin. I'm here with my co-host,
Matthew Connor.
And I'm Plumber Dave. Keep pounding nation.
I'm Fuzz. Let's talk some football. Let's get after it, boys.
Let's get after it. So we're going to break down a little NFC, AFC today, what we got coming up for the upcoming season, and just some of our predictions we got. Fuzz, you want to kick us off with your squad?
Where do you want me to start?
Your
You
squad.
want to start with go ahead and start in Pittsburgh.
Oh boy! All right. See, this is the moment that I've all been waiting for. Oh, let's get it. All right. Obviously, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So through the season, we signed Keanu Neal, released the Keller Witherspoon. I feel like that was a bit of a crazy move. But in the draft, we picked up Broderick Jones and Joey Porter Jr., which is I think those are huge. Like JPJ, I think he's got a real good chance at possibly Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nick Herbig, third-round pick, stud. Dude was a stud. In the 3 preseason games, he had 3.5 sacks. Dude went crazy. So I'm expecting him to show up. We extended Alex Highsmith. And then obviously we got that man, KP8, back there. He's the man. He is the guy. All right? That's right. What you got? Come on.
Who's on your jersey? Let them know.
KP8, baby. Let's get it.
All right. All right. I guess we'll keep it within that division, and we'll bounce to my brother Matt here.
I got the Browns. I think they're going to finish second in the division. I think this year's going to be – we're going to see who Deshaun really is on the field. And I think that's going to do nothing but help Nick Chubb in the run game. We've been using Elijah Moore in the backfield in preseason, which if you watch the clips of when he is in the backfield, it does nothing but cause miscommunication for defenses. And I think the biggest addition this offseason was getting Jim Schwartz, a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. And I think we already forced more turnovers this preseason than we did all of last season. So, I mean, definitely looks like defense should be more sound this season. Yeah.
All right, some big news out of Cleveland. Dave,
Let
who
'em
you
know
got?
No, let them know you a brownie. Like
Yeah, go Browns.
you didn't even say that with like chest. Like I didn't even know you were a Browns fan by hearing that.
He said, "Come on, let them know, dog pound." Dave, who you got in the AFC North?
I got the Bengals. Arguably the best team in that division. They've been the most consistent in that division the last few years. But I'm a little bit scared about this because we just now get into the regular season and we already see Joe Burrow's been hurt in the preseason, which that's scary to me. Like it's a long season. It's a 17-game season. If he already hurt before the season even started, before he taken snaps, it could be a long season for these Bengals. But that being said, I still have them at 11-6. That's what my prediction is for them. I think they're going to be top of that division, but I think either any of those 4 teams can win it. I think it's anybody's division. Like if Burrow goes down, that leaves the door open for anybody else. Like he doesn't even have to go down for it to lead anybody else. Look at the start of last season. He threw 4 interceptions, I think it was, against the Steelers week 1. Might have been more.
That was 4, and then he fumbled the ball as well.
Yeah, so like if that Steelers defense stays healthy, like I know I'm the Bengals for this topic, but if that Steelers defense stays healthy, that team's a tough one. The Browns, if the real Deshaun Watson comes back, you can argue them winning that division because like they got Myles Garrett and those are two. They have 2 of the best defensive players. Like they have 2 of the best, but they have 2 of the best defensive players in the league. Like not the Browns, like that division, like with T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett.
Well, with Roquan in Baltimore, and that leads me to where I'm thinking. I got the Ravens at 12 wins, and I actually have them winning that division with Cleveland in second. got a newly paid man in El Freaky. He's getting his money. He's getting right. They got a receiving core finally for him, so there's no excuses now. And that team's been good without him being healthy on the field for the last 3 years, and if he stays healthy. Yeah, undefeated in the preseason. Hey, that was up for grabs until the last second that one game. But yeah, that's where I got Baltimore finishing. I got them getting like around that 12-11 win mark and winning the division. But I agree with Dave 100%. I think that division is how they viewed the AFC West last year. I think anyone can win it, and anyone that does win it has a chance to make a run.
And I think there could be multiple teams in that division making the playoffs and could be a playoff push. Like, say you're right. Say the Ravens do win it and the Bengals still make the playoffs. I could still see the Bengals somehow making a Super Bowl push even if they don't win the division. Like, we know what he can do in Arrowhead.
Oh, no.
No, just kidding.
Well, that's a good little segue, Dave. Why don't we take us over to the West? We'll go to the AFC West, and I'll kick us off. Reigning, defending Super Bowl champs. We're going back. It is what it is. 13 wins, 4 losses. You can count it now, book it. We're the defenders, baby. I'm ready for this young defense. I was excited for him last year. I didn't expect them to play as good as they did. We got Trent McDuffie, who I'm excited to see. And then we got some young receivers now. We got Rashee Rice. And I really like that Justin Ross kid from Clemson. He showed out in training camp. So I'm just excited to see what everyone does. I think Kadarius Toney could have a big year if he stays healthy. And greatest tight end of all time, baby. Like 87. Hey.
87 is the best of all time, but I don't know if it's that one.
Hey, as long as he's rocking the same mustache as Christian, I'm taking him. I'm taking him all time. I'm taking him all time.
Bring the stash into it, baby. All right.
Okay, jump into us, Fuzz.
I'll jump into it. You
Pause.
threw me in there with the stash.
Oh no!
Hey yo. This team's just gonna be terrible. I got the Raiders in this one. They got rid of Darren Waller. I hate that. And then they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. There for a minute.
Porn star Jimmy!
There was a chance that dude wasn't even going to play without that physical, but I guess he ended up passing it. So good for him. He gets to go out there and suck again. Anyway.
And then the place that wanted him to leave so bad.
Yeah.
He traded away the guy who they drafted to replace him.
Yeah, I think they're in for a rude awakening, and my prediction is Davante Adams is out of the. He's gone after this year. He's going to be done after they go 5-12 and finish last in the division.
So, got a question about that. If you think he's gone, you think he's gone by the trade deadline or just leaving after the season?
Good question, Dave. Good question.
That's a. I guess it would depend on how they start the season.
And
if they start the season like bad, like I'm talking like maybe one win, I think he's pushing for a trade mid-season. But I'm gonna assume it'll be after the season he'll be heading to a new team.
So say this one with your chest. Bold prediction, where does he end up if he gets traded?
Ends up if he gets traded. You know, there's a lot of teams that need receivers pretty bad. Carolina being one of them.
He thought he was actually coming to Carolina his rookie year. He thought we were going to draft him instead we got bum Kelvin Benjamin.
Honestly, part of me kind of wants to see him end up over there in Kansas City because that boy.
You want to see him in Kansas City? You want other teams to be able to win football games?
Mm-hmm. I love
we gotta be able to afford this team, brother. And if we get this Chris Jones deal done, that ain't happening.
That's scary.
Yeah. Don't. That's why we didn't talk about it. That's why we move on.
We move on.
I could see Adams getting traded to the Jets.
I could see that too.
Going with Rodgers.
I wouldn't put it past the NFL.
But, that's pretty much.
Hey, them script writers. If they're writing that,
yeah, but
we're in for it.
Well, I'll go next. I got Denver. Clearly got them going 17-0 with Sean Payton. I'm just kidding. I see this team probably at most 7 wins. I really think it's going to be a rough year again. I don't think this addition with Sean Payton's going to work out the way Denver fans want it to. I love Sean Payton. He knows how to be able to coach short quarterbacks, but Drew Brees was a completely different talent than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has never been a great pocket passer. He's the type of guy that you want him scrambling out of the pocket, and that's not what Drew Brees was. So Sean's got to completely change up how he's coaching this guy. I mean, they already have Tim Patrick hurt, out for the season again. Feel bad for that guy. I want to see him get another shot, get maybe comeback player of the year next year, because he was a stud before he goes out, and now 2 years in a row.
Yeah, big shout out to Tim Patrick. Big shout out to Tim Patrick. I like him.
Me too.
Like him
I
too.
hope.
His
I really
hands are
hope he
ridiculous.
gets back
He
healthy.
knows how to catch the ball.
And then, Judy gets hurt also. I don't know exactly how bad that is, and but then you just injuries to receivers. It seems like it's bad. It's like how San Francisco is with quarterbacks. They are with receivers instead. And then they cut guys that I just don't understand fully.
He wanted in the shot.
They cut KJ Hamler. I understand he wasn't going to be able to probably play this season because of the heart condition, but I hate seeing that for that guy. Dude's a cool guy. I got to talk to him personally at the DeMar Hamlin charity softball game. He sat right in front of me just talking. We had a conversation. Nothing about football, nothing about his fame. It was just talking. And so I just hope.
Did you know it was him at the time?
Yeah, I did. And
Nice.
he he wasn't oh my goodness, I'm famous. I'm an NFL player. You gotta he was a great guy, just easy to talk to, and I hope the best for him. I really hope he comes back and ends up being a beast somewhere else. I'll take him in Carolina.
Yeah, I definitely would.
But that's really all I have at Denver. I think 6-11, 7-10. That's right around where I think they're going to be at.
I like that.
You think Wilson gets benched?
Russell?
Yeah.
There was a chance. If they start out bad, I could see them trying to get Stidham a chance because he looked good against San Francisco last year once he had to fill in for Carr.
Yeah.
That cost me a championship in fantasy because I benched Adams that week because I was like, no way this dude's coming up against San Francisco's defense and doing anything. Adams went off. But yeah, I could see him getting traded. But I don't know who's going to trade for him. That's the thing. There's no team that I'm Russell Wilson makes them a Super Bowl contender because if he can't take that roster in
they
Denver,
don't want him.
Yeah.
If this doesn't work out, who's going to want that contract?
Yeah.
That's the only reason I don't see them benching him is because of that contract. I mean,
but if
at Walmart money.
But if you can get Stidham a chance, if Wilson's doing that bad, give Stidham a chance. See if you maybe have somebody that could be a maybe franchise guy, maybe just spot filler until you get somebody better. But yeah,
I agree. I'm
that's all I
ready.
really got on Denver.
I'm ready to hear what we got for the Chargers.
Yeah, enough of Denver. Let's take it up to SoFi. And how you feel about the Chargers, Matt?
I think they're going to finish. Leaders will just be crawling for whoever finishes third. But, yeah, I just think I'm not going to say I think they'll take a step forward because I don't think they're going to really do anything in the playoffs if they do make it. And I don't know. I think them drafting Quentin Johnson, I think this season they're going to regret that when they see what Zay Flowers does in Baltimore just because.
Definitely since they already had 2 big receivers.
Yeah, that was my thing.
They could have used the speed threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Outside of Austin Eckler, which, honestly, if we're not talking fantasy, he isn't the most valuable running back to have on your team, and they don't have anybody behind him either. And, I don't know. J.C. Jackson needs to stay healthy and have a good season for that defense to take a step forward because they didn't really add any more playmakers to that side of the ball. So I think they'll be second in the division, maybe win 9 games or so.
Yeah. I
That's
like,
just the reality of the AFC.
honestly, and that AFC is going to be difficult this year to like
Mhm.
even make it, like to be able to compete. Like they
Because
might
we
make
got
it.
some new faces in town, Dave, and that's a great segue to this next division. There's a new man in New York.
Yeah,
Jets, 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 Jets. Give me Rodgers and the Jets. I got them winning 10 or 11 games this year, but I think their division's going to be very tight. I don't know if they dethrone the Bills from that top spot, but
I
watch
don't
out for
even know.
Rodgers maybe having MVP season number 5 caliber type of season.
I don't think anybody's taking that from 15.
I mean,
Nah, man.
I'm just talking about their division. That's a different beast. There's different levels.
Well, like with that division, the Rodgers pickup's a great thing for them, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's a tough division because you got Miami, you got Buffalo. Like it's
Who you
not going to
got,
be.
Dave? I was gonna say who you got. Jump into yours.
I have Miami, like, and
They're
I
good.
was looking at their schedule. I'm like, it's hard to predict them. Like I said 11-6, but I could see even better than that. But I could
Mm-hmm.
be worse also because their main thing they got to keep Tua healthy. If he gets hurt again, we saw what happens to them. They just fall apart. They can't win without him being on the field. Um, I did like them picking up Mike White because they got a person that can step in for a few games to like be a starter. Like if Tua does get hurt, but like you got to protect Tua because without him being healthy, that's a hard division. You're not going to be able to fall behind in that division this year. Like if you start out slow because of injuries or have a bad stretch in the season because of an injury to your quarterback, it's just I really believe that can cost Miami the division if Tua misses a few games.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. How many
The
games
thing
do they
about
have Tua
Miami
still
that
out? That's what I
scares
want to
me,
know.
yeah, I was gonna say it's just the injuries.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't mind like the Ramsey injury. It's like okay,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't like seeing that for them, but I don't think that's what's going to affect them. It's going to be Tua if he gets hurt.
Hopefully that jujitsu
I
helped him.
agree.
Yeah.
So who you got,
Oh,
Fuzz, down in the East?
You know, I got them defending champs, man. The AFC East defending champs. The
Oh, yeah.
Bills, baby. Come on now. They crazy.
hey, he has a pretty good mustache too.
Hey, Haley Steinfeld, lucky son of a
they're
bitch.
they're that offense is still going to be explosive. Obviously, they still got Allen, who I think he gets a lot of hate for the amount of picks he started throwing toward the end of the year last year, but he was tearing up the entire NFL to start that season. And Stephon Diggs, I mean, there's no slowing that man down. He's wild. I think that defense, I think it took a hit in the secondary a little bit, but I think for the most part, it should be fine. They got DeMar Hamlin coming back.
I didn't like them losing Edmonds.
No, I didn't like them losing that either. They definitely took that hit. Uh, yeah, I made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, I think they're going to be all right. They're in my mind they're going to win. They're going to win the division. I have them winning it, going 11-6. But like we said earlier, I still think that the Jets and the Dolphins are going to be right there, like within a game.
But we haven't even talked about the best team in that division yet.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Yeah, I think we did because it's definitely not gonna be the team that we're talking about now, which is the Patriots. And I mean,
But
I
they
think
just picked up a good quarterback.
Matt Corral, yeah.
I hope he's starting by the end of the year. I really do.
I think their offense is going to be better having Bill O'Brien, obviously, than having a special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator being your QB coach and offensive coordinator. So that will
He
be
was
a
in
step in
Alabama
the
with
right
Mac Jones,
direction.
wasn't he?
What's up?
He might. I don't know if he was there with Mac Jones or if it was the season after Mac Jones was there or not.
Okay.
But it was a very similar like style offense still for both seasons. So it's something Mac Jones is more familiar with at least.
And he can just call. He'll be like, "Hey, Saban." If he wasn't there with Mac Jones, he'll call up Saban and be like, "How do we get the best quality out of this guy?"
Yeah, and I think Tyquan Thornton will be decent this year, but he's not going to end up being a true number one receiver like they were hoping when they drafted him. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a solid defense like always, a average offense, but I just think back to the
Do you
point
know
of the
their
AFC
defense
being
last
so
year
low.
put up 140 points in fantasy?
Oh yeah, I mean,
That's
their
that's
defense
kind
is always
that's
gonna
really
be
absurd.
good.
I
And
mean,
think
I didn't know that.
yeah, really absurd fact.
I think them getting Christian.
Do you know if that was
Gonzalez,
first?
No, they were not first. The
Dallas
Eagles were.
was probably first. Oh, Eagles were okay.
Yeah.
Because Dallas had that stretch of games where they went off defensively.
They had, I think they had the turnovers, but the Eagles just had 70 sacks.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing else to do.
But
They were just, you get a sack, you get a sack.
yeah, I think the Patriots are gonna finish last. I still think they'll be a respectable team, like a 7-8 win team. I don't think they're gonna be trash like some teams, but
That we will definitely get to. Arizona.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the NFC is bad. The NFC is,
dude.
and this next conference we get, I mean, the last division we get into in the AFC is bad too. Besides the only team that's gonna do anything in there, and
Who do you think that
who
team
has
is?
them?
Who do you really think that team is?
Saxonville.
It's definitely
I was looking at their schedule. I think they're going to struggle because I actually have them.
All
That-
right, so what do you got? What do you got?
That division has a tough schedule because they played the NFC South, and I might be a little bit biased here, but that division is going to be a lot better than what they were last year. And I think that division is going to be, I think it's getting slept on because Atlanta improved a decent amount. Carolina hopefully improved a decent amount. And then Saints improved. So, I mean, I think that's going to be a difficult division. So, with Jacksonville playing that division, I think it could be a struggle for them. I actually went through their schedule earlier, and I marked them down as 8-9. I could see them still winning that division at 8-9, but I just saw so many tough games. I don't know if they'll be able to.
So now I really want to hear from Christian. Christian, what do you think the Titans do?
So, this one was actually a really intriguing team for me, honestly, because they've done some pretty interesting things in the off season. You know, signing Sean Murphy Bunting, picking up obviously the biggest talk of their entire team right now was the signing of DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's going to help them
That's gonna help
in the
them a
long
lot.
run. It's
A
going
lot.
to help them in the long run because that's going to help them be able to run the ball with that big boy in the backfield. I got them at 7-10, second in the division, behind, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And that could happen with 8 and 9. Okay.
Yeah, that was my take in that.
They also played the Chiefs week 2. Like, they're not.
I can't wait for Thursday.
Nothing about the Titans' schedule was easy when I was looking through it.
Yeah.
They're playing teams like the Chargers, the Ravens, the Bengals. I was looking at that and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's just 3 not winnable games for the Tennessee Titans.
That division is going to be the worst in football this year.
Absolutely.
Let's say that's how I was feeling once I was with the Jaguars.
Let's go ahead and lead this down to Dustin because I really want to hear from his team.
I think I have I got the Colts. And it's funny to say this because 2 years ago they had 11 Pro Bowlers on their roster.
Yeah,
Something like
they
that.
had a lot.
So this is really hard for me to say, but I got them winning maybe 4 games. I really like Anthony Richardson. He's a great human being. I've loved what all he's done so far, but he's not going to be like Bryce Young this year.
He's way taller. I know what you're talking about.
His rushing numbers may be like electrifying and all that stuff. They may even rival Justin Fields' numbers, but like
Great fantasy quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but and I think it's going to be a great like learning year for him. Like I think next year is a whole different story for that team. But 4 wins at most, don't have much to say, especially with Jonathan Taylor out. That took 2 wins off of their schedule for me, with them not having Jonathan Taylor anymore. And that's how I felt. I felt like I didn't even feel like Matt had the worst team, which will lead me into this. Matt, how do you think Houston does this year?
It sounds like we're all pretty similar in how we think this is going to go. Although it sounded like Dave thinks the Titans are going to win, and I think
No, I have Jaguars winning it.
Yeah,
okay.
He just thinks with a lower record.
Okay.
I think they'll be kind of like, it's going to be like the NFC South was last year.
I think the Titans are going to win this division this year. I just think that last year the Jags stayed relevantly pretty healthy throughout the season, which you can't count on every season. The Titans a couple years ago had the 1 seed and had the most players out on IR and just not playing and everything from their roster, so they showed they can win games still without having all of their starters. But anyway, I think those will be the top 2 teams. I think the Colts will be last, and that leaves the Texans at third. I don't think they'll be much better than the Colts, but I had them winning 6 games this season.
Fair.
I think Stroud will have a decent rookie season. He'll have some growing pains with.
I think he has a strong end of the year finish. I think he starts off with a little struggle.
I forget what their schedule looked like, so I forget when I had them win their games and seeing who they play late in the year. But
it's similar to the Colts though. Like it's tough.
yeah,
it's
I had
tough.
them winning like 6 games, and I think that offensive rookie. Oh, Rose. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Thug Rose. It's a big deal. We're allowed. If we have a Joe Rogan reaction right now, people, I am sorry. Thug Rose just took control of the fight.
But I think the Texans have a decent chance of having both the offensive rookie of the year and defensive. I don't think they'll have the offensive, but I think Will Anderson will win defensive rookie of the year.
Okay.
And
I want to get into awards after we're done with the teams. That's one thing.
I like it though because Christian threw out JPJ, and I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
I like both of them. I like both of them to have big years.
Yeah.
By the way, though, their offensive rookie of the year pick for them wasn't going to be C.J. Stroud. It was going to be Tank Dell, the receiver.
Yeah.
I like Tank Dell a lot. That dude, his route running is disgusting. I do like.
He's
Tank
just
Dell a lot.
shifty. He's like
he's
more. He reminds me of Kadarius Toney, little smaller frame but more explosive.
I saw a play where C.J. Stroud in the preseason hit him with a decently nice pass, and he dropped it. I was a little bit sad about that.
Yeah, I think that was the first game, maybe, but he ended up scoring a touchdown in that game.
That was it was actually the last game because because I think that was C.J. Stroud's first touchdown because I think him and Bryce both threw their first one on the same week, but I could be wrong.
I don't care about drops in preseason anymore.
I don't either because Jamar Chase had the most.
Yeah, Jamar Chase fooled everybody.
Jamar Chase, bro. Everybody was dogging on that dude. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna be a bust," and then next thing you know, the man goes, "What did he go off for that year? Like 1,400 yards."
The thing is, he still was one of the top receivers at dropping passes that year.
That's crazy. You know who was number
He don't
one?
catch the ball like 85. Well, I guess 5 now because he changed his number.
Jamar's just so dangerous.
I think T. Higgins has the best hands on their team.
I think T. Higgins is.
We'll get into it. That's something for another day. But I don't want to jump off topic here.
I do want to say, talking about T. Higgins though, he's a guy I could see getting traded before the end of this season because it's a contract year.
Mm-hmm.
You usually aren't going to put a franchise tag on a number 2 receiver.
Unless you plan on trading him and just tag him so you can trade him.
But franchising somebody like T. Higgins is going to make it hard to trade him because then you're paying him top 5 money for a year.
And you're wasting your tag like you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean.
On someone where you might want to use it on.
I think there's teams that would still do it, though, just with seeing how the signing of Christian Kirk went with Jacksonville. They gave him $20 million a year, which everybody thought was crazy at the time. But now that they have Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones there,
they're on discounted prices for their receivers.
Let's start talking about the NFC South. We're going to start with the Panthers, obviously. I think this team is going to be one of the most improved teams in NFL this year. People are talking crap saying they got fleeced by the Chicago Bears. They're still going to finish with a worse record than the Chicago Bears because we gave away DJ Moore, two first-round picks, and like second-round picks and stuff. I forget the exact trade, but
you gave up what you give up to get a franchise quarterback.
DJ Moore, great guy, great receiver. I love DJ Moore. He blew the game against the Falcons. I'm just kidding. He didn't blow it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
I was waiting for the butt. He was setting it up so long. I was waiting for him to say.
But I've seen all the memes. I'm going to get him all year. Like, at least he doesn't play Call of Duty during like the season. Come on,
Facts.
like it's going to be
At least
small.
he likes to watch
like,
film.
At least watch film. Come on, Kyler.
And he only drinks sweet tea.
And Dave, don't be modest.
Occasion thing.
Yeah, Dave, don't even be modest either. Go ahead and brag about that defense.
This defense has just gotten better. Like, we have the best defensive coordinator in the league. He's going to be a head coach somewhere next year. You guys can argue with it, but he should have been a head coach this season probably. But he decided to come to Carolina. Love him for it. Glad he did. Because Brian Burns is going to have a great season. I think he might win. He might win most improved. That's how great of a season I think he's going to have with this new defense. We picked up Von Bell. Great safety and makes it where we can put Jeremy Chin anywhere on the field. Jeremy Chin will line up a big nickel. Like, he's going to play corner. He's going to play linebacker. He might rush the passer sometimes. I mean, this was the type of role he was in his rookie year where he scored back-to-back touchdowns against the Minnesota Vikings. And once I say back-to-back, it was back-to-back plays. Like, that's never been done in the NFL before. So I think this defense is going to be really fun to watch. I hope J.C. Horn stays healthy, because if J.C. Horn stays healthy, that's top 5 corner if he's healthy.
I like that. Can I get a stat prediction for Bryce Young?
Bryce Young. Whew, that's a tough one. So I think we're going to be more of a running football team because we picked up Miles Sanders, and I believe Miles Sanders he's going to be receiving the ball also like he did his rookie season in Philly. But I can see 24 and 7. 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
This man's going crazy.
He's never thrown many interceptions in his career. He's just hasn't. That's not what he doesn't do that. He's smart with the ball. The only thing you can say is he doesn't have a true number one. That's like the main argument in Carolina. He doesn't have a true number one. But I like him having Adam Thielen. I think Adam Thielen's going to be a great receiver for him. DJ Chark going to try to get healthy for him. If DJ Chark's healthy, DJ Chark's going to be a good receiver. Mm-hmm. I like the pickup of Jonathan Mingo, rookie receiver out of Ole Miss. I think he's going to really help, and him and Bryce are going to have that type of connection that it's just weird. Like, rookie quarterbacks and rookie receivers usually just have a great connection. Like Kenny Pickett and George Pickens just clicked off. Like,
so
the stats.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they go through their own. Their own rookie mini camp together, so that's just who they get that connection with as far as like the quarterback and receiver duo.
But yeah, so I think Bryce is the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I looked at the schedule. I think we could be a 10-7 team.
10-7, okay. And that's like picture perfect for you, right?
Yes.
Okay,
well,
now I hate to cut you off, but it's a perfect segue into where I think Atlanta finishes. Whereas you think you have Offensive Rookie of the Year, I think your division I think it's a 50-50 shot between who gets it, between him and Bijan. I really do think Bijan comes in and makes that impact in Atlanta. I don't think they take the division over or anything like some people think. For me, that's the Saints, but I don't know why I think that. I'm just riding this Derek Carr effect. It's weird. I don't know how I
The
feel
big thing
about it.
with Derek Carr is he wasn't able to do it with the Raiders
Yeah,
last year with arguably the best
it's just
receiver in
that
the
Saints
NFL.
roster is just so good.
Oh yeah, they are really good. Like their defense is outstanding also, but you can't say any of their receivers are better than what he had last year.
Mm-mm. But
He is a good receiver.
I do like Atlanta's receivers though. I do love Drake London. I like Kyle Pitts for to maybe finally have this year everybody wants him to have. Um, but I got them
That's-
winning around 7 games, and that's my offensive rookie of the year pick actually. Just throwing it out there now, but I do like Bijan for that award. That takes us to New Orleans.
Well, New Orleans, I think they have a chance to win the division. I also think they have a chance to finish third in the division because I think fourth is just going to be the Buccaneers because
yeah,
I think every team improved, but they went from the GOAT to Baker Mayfield. And
broke.
it's not even just as simple as that. It's the fact that Tom was so good at getting the ball out of his hands quick and Baker's not. So I just think they're locked to finish last in the division. And the Saints can be anywhere in the 3 spots above there. I could see them winning 11 games with how good their roster is. I could also see them winning 7 games with just
How the games will go in their favor.
not even necessarily just that. Joe Woods had good stretches in Cleveland throughout seasons, but it was always the end of the season. We would always start the season one of the worst defenses, finish the final 5 games as a top 5 defense. I don't think they can start slow like that in that division with how much improvement Carolina and with how
I was
much
gonna say
improvement Carolina has and how much improvement Atlanta has. But if I had to bet, I'd bet the Saints to win that division just because the experience that they do have on their team and everything. But I wouldn't put it past them to finish third.
okay. Now it leads us to you, Fuzz. Break us down.
This is my favorite team to talk about right here.
Me and you both.
The Buccaneers, man. Obviously, Brady's gone. Matt covered that one a little bit. They have Baker Mayfield now, and I do like this defense. I will say the defense does. I actually don't mind the defense at all. They got some really good pieces. They were able to keep Davante David for another year, but on the other hand, they're going to be so bad because of Baker Mayfield. He's terrible.
I feel bad
Baker
for
Mayfield
Mike.
is freaking terrible. I mean, there's just no sugarcoating this. I mean, the man gets in trouble, and his first thought, instead of throwing the ball away,
Is to throw it to the other jersey.
Just throw it to the middle linebacker. I mean, he's just like Mitch Trubisky.
He got benched for
That's
Sam.
having nightmares.
Dave and I can tell you from experience that he has the worst pocket awareness, worst pocket like footwork,
Terrible.
anything that has to do with being in the pocket. It's him, and then it's like Russell Wilson, and then it's like the rest of the NFL.
And the thing is Russell Wilson can at least escape the pocket and look
Yeah.
great. Like after scrambling around, Baker scrambles around and then doesn't look
Just
great.
High step. I don't want to talk about him.
You got benched for Sam Darnold last year, and PJ
PJ
Walker. PJ
think-
Walker just got cut by the Bears.
I think he's going to end
Don't
up
worry.
getting benched this year. I just think that they
Week
realized
5.
they couldn't go into the season with him being the second string because it would ruin his confidence.
His
I think they
confidence
knew
should
the-
already be ruined.
No, that's the only thing he has.
But yeah, true. He believes in himself a lot. a lot.
Terrifying. That is
I don't know why, but he does.
So, yeah.
One thing I will say, I hope he gets his money back from his family. They're a bunch of scumbags.
Yeah.
So yeah, with all that being said, my prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is obviously common sense, last in the division. As far as wins go, maybe 5 if they're lucky.
Whew.
But
It's funny about that.
5 or 6.
It's just really funny to me that this is a team that won a Super Bowl a few years ago, and it reminds me of another team that did, and that's our next segue into the NFC West. And I want to break down the Rams. I want to know what you got to say, Matt.
I got the Rams. Oh shit. I think the Rams gonna finish third in the division. I actually think Seattle wins the division this year. I think that their offense is gonna be top 3 in the NFL. Their defense will take a step forward just because all the young talent, the second-year players they have. But
Over the Niners.
that's neither here or there.
What record do you
Yeah,
think they have then?
I think Brock Purdy's going to take a step back. I think I think both of those teams are going to make the playoffs. I think the Seahawks will win around 11, 12 games maybe. I just think the addition of Smith and Najigba, having 2 running backs that are young and that you can rely on with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, however you say his name.
Keep going. Keep running on my team. I love it.
But
I'll cover the Rams.
yeah, I think
I don't mind the Rams. I think the Rams are going to sneak up on people because I love Matt Stafford. I mean, it's tough with that team.
I think
They got the best player in the world, like best football player in the world that's on defense.
I
well,
have a bold prediction. If the Rams struggle at the beginning of this year,
Oh yeah,
I think Aaron Donald's out of there.
Like
I think
early
he
in the year.
I think
If they struggle and don't,
see,
I
I was
think-
going to get into that. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
if they struggle, I think he gets traded because every year we're asking the question: is Aaron Donald retiring? Why not get stuff out of him to send him to a team that's going to win a Super Bowl or could win a Super Bowl? Like,
I think
And he could find a new love for the game somewhere else.
I don't think I think he just wants to be done. I think he's got what he wants. Like, but
ring me.
I think he would love to get another ring, and I don't see it happening there.
See, I
well,
weirdly thought
I
the
was
same
going to
thing
get
about
into
Cooper.
that. Yeah, I was going to get into that too. The Rams, I'm pretty sure now have the youngest average roster in the NFL. So I think that they don't have enough depth on their team at the moment, and everything could get blown up. They could try and trade away Cooper Kupp. They could try and trade away Aaron Donald. They could even
I think
try
it's
and
the
move on from
Cardinals.
Stafford.
I think the Cardinals have the youngest.
They were talking about it on ESPN, and I think they said like after all the roster cuts the Rams do, because they did have a decent amount of undrafted free agents that made their roster, and they had decent amount of more picks this year.
I guess maybe average, but I'm pretty sure I think I saw the Cardinals don't have a single person that's over the age of 30 on their team.
Yeah, I think the average age for the Rams, though, like even with having some of their older players, like their key pieces, was like 24 years old or something, or like 25. But yeah, I think they're going to blow up the operation in LA this year. I still don't see them finishing worse than the Cardinals because I think that's kind of it's obvious what the Cardinals are doing this year. And yeah, so it's going to be hard to finish worse than them, but I also don't see them being better than the 2 teams that just made the playoffs, especially with it being Geno's first year starting in that offense, first full year starting in that offense.
Which leads me into my team. I mean, Matt's damn near covered everything I wanted to talk about with the Seahawks, but I got them going around the 10-11 win mark. I thought 12 was a little too much for them just because I do think that I mean, you can edit this out if you want, but Big Cock Brock, that dude's a guy. That dude's a guy. I like him.
I almost have the same opinion about him as Matt. But it's hard to say.
And I do the last thing about the Seahawks, I do agree with Matthew. I think they do have the best wide receiver core in the league now with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
If he can stay
Tyler
healthy, 'cause
Lockett
he
and
is a guy
DK.
that
Yeah, if they're all on the field together with Kenneth Walker, I mean, they're the NFC's Bengals with that offense. I'm not comparing Geno Smith to Joe Burrow by any means at all. So don't like. I'm
Are
not
we
that guy.
disrespecting Miami's receiving core though? Am I saying that
I mean,
this
I don't know
three
if
is better
it's
than their two?
the only reason I wouldn't say
I
it's
think
disrespectful. I think Seattle's complements each other the
yeah,
best.
that's what I love about theirs. It's like the Bengals. It meshes very well together. You have Tyler Lockett. I mean, that dude
Gets open and
just gets open and like exactly. He reminds me of Randall Cobb. DK, nothing needs to be said about that physical freak. The dude is a monster specimen.
And then Smith and Jigba just kind of does it all.
That's what I'm saying. Smith-Njigba, prior to Marvin Harrison getting all this shine and love, bro, he had 300 yards in the Rose Bowl his freshman year.
Only thing about that is not a lot of the star receivers played that day. Like it was a great game, but like that year they had Olave and Garrett Wilson. I'm pretty sure, and both of them sat out the bowl game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Hey, why weren't they playing in the playoffs? Oh,
I don't think it was a playoff game.
No, he's saying that's
thought they were-
that's
I
when we
didn't know
beat
they
them
were
with
in the
Cade
playoffs that
McNamara.
year.
So that's why they were in the Rose Bowl. That's why Matt was making fun of them. But who else we got in this division? We got we ran through Seahawks and Rams. Now, Dave,
Potentially
break down the Niners for us. How you feeling about San Fran?
King them. I have this team
Your
at
champs.
like I don't know if they'll win a ring, but
Oh, you division champs.
NFC Kings. Like
Okay.
I really think so. It all depends on Brock Purdy. That's the only scary part for me. Is I don't know how to feel about him. I don't know if it was just a miracle season and he's going to suck this year and just not be the franchise guy, because he has struggled a lot in their preseason like mini camp and training camp and all that. He's been throwing a decent amount of interceptions there. Every day I'm reading something like during the offseason I was reading he was throwing more interceptions than it felt like completions by how these articles were wrote. But they arguably have the best running back in the league. I mean, pure running back, I'm going to give it to Nick Chubb. Like, if you want somebody to run the ball and get you 5 yards, give it to Chubb. But if you want somebody that's going to give you 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing,
What's he going on now? 7 straight years of being probably the best fantasy option. If
at running back.
yeah,
running back, yeah,
I mean,
probably.
and I know fantasy has nothing to do with. Yes, the fuck it does. What are we talking about?
It really
was
doesn't.
fucking-
Just like,
It was formed from the fucking league. Like,
but the thing is Justin Fields was one of the best fantasy quarterbacks last year.
Yeah,
Any of
see-
us arguing that he's the top 15?
nah.
Austin
Well,
Eckler's
hey, they
been-
tried. Hey, the NFL Top 100 tried to put his ass in there over Terry McLaurin.
I don't understand. Like, he was ranked above Trevor Lawrence in that.
Nah, see, and Trevor won a playoff game.
Yeah. What did Justin Fields do? He beat San Francisco week 1 that Trey Lance played.
Sorry, Luke. Sorry,
Like-
Luke.
Yeah.
You ran the football.
Like, that's all he does. I mean, and yes, he's had good preseason stats. I'm talking about the Bears right now. We're supposed to be talking about the completely different division, but dude's throwing screen passes, getting a lot of yards, and it's just his players doing stuff for him, not even him. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I want to finish my topic on the 49ers. It all depends on Brock Purdy for if they can contend for a Super Bowl. They have a great head coach. He loves blowing leads, though. That's one thing he loves doing. He's done it in 2 Super Bowls and 2 of the biggest blown leads in Super Bowl history, because he was there for the 49ers, blowing it to the Chiefs. I understand every game that year was Mahomes coming back from behind in the playoffs, but I don't know if you guys know this, but who was the offensive coordinator of the Falcons that year? was Kyle Shanahan, 28-3. Woo! I love the
I actually
Falcons.
didn't know that. That's
Yes.
actually I really didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yes, he gets the best out of his quarterbacks and running backs. I will say that because how's this dude making it to NFC Championship games and stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo?
How'd he do it with Mr. Irrelevant last year?
Yeah,
George Kittle asked that dude to go in there and throw lefty.
they
That's how much of a shot they thought they had against Philly if he could just go in there and throw lefty.
if he's healthy, they beat Philly. They're in the Super Bowl. If he's healthy, they beat Philly.
I agree.
They have.
I'm
You
on
could
the other
argue
side of
top.
that.
You could argue top 3 tight end in the league. I'm not saying he is, but you can argue it.
When he's healthy, he is.
You have Debo that just.
His name's Debo.
Where's he lining up? Like, that's scary. Like, if they do anything with him in the backfield and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield together, who do you worry about the most there? Like, you obviously got to worry about McCaffrey more.
Kyle Juszczyk, Matt said.
Like, but, and I just think that team's going to be difficult to stop. I got to say one thing: sign Nick Bosa. Get him his contract. Get him his bag. Let him play football. He's going to be able to make the biggest impact on that team. Like, he is the type of player that, like TJ Watt, like Garrett, like
Micah Parsons.
He's making a huge impact on the defensive side of the ball. And if they let him actually sit out week 1 because they didn't want to pay this guy a bag that they're going to have to pay no matter what if they want him on that team, they're dumb.
I don't think they are. I like that.
They are.
Actually.
And
he's also on a team that is known for mainly only sending 4 rushers at the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he does what he does. It's insane.
They
need to pay him.
They have arguably the best middle linebacker in the league also.
No, I don't think it's arguable.
Yeah, Fred's the best.
I mean,
you can argue. Like, there's going to be people that argue it, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Roquan's good, but
Roquan's with Patrick now.
No
so
disrespect to Roquan, it's just how good I think Fred is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
no, they're both studs.
If San Francisco quarterback's healthy, they're scary.
Let's go to the best team in the division.
Fuzz, go ahead.
Too, honestly,
NFL.
You know, I wish there was a lot that I could. I wish this was a team that we could get more into conversation about here.
What the transition report.
I have literally these teams that this team is just
tanking.
It's bad. It's bad. Kyler Murray's. I don't even know who's starting week 1. Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune. I don't even know who that guy is, but apparently he's getting.
Sounds like a dentist.
Yeah, apparently he's getting some kind of snaps. Nobody even knows who's starting for them week 1. Kyler Murray's out.
Do they know?
I don't even think they know. Honestly,
they said they aren't announcing it, so they have a competitive advantage, even though it's a 17-game season and week 1.
That's real smart.
Matter for the doesn't matter for the last 16.
They getting Trace McSorley back.
I wonder how hard it's going to be to shut down Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs, but
extremely difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, they did boost their offensive line a little bit. Paris Johnson Jr. in the draft, good little pickup.
Hey, they might get Caleb Williams if he decides to come out.
Yeah.
And Marvin Harrison, depending on how bad the Texans are.
Exactly.
See, that's what, if I'm Caleb Williams, I'm like seeing how bad the Texans and Cardinals are. If the Cardinals are number 1 pick and somehow Texans are number 2 pick, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming out because I'm telling them, I'm calling them and saying, you better get that receiver for me. I'll be there. They have the Houston's 1 overall pick.
I literally have lost where I was at entirely in that whole conversation. They suck. They're going 3-14, last in the division. Common sense here. They're terrible.
I don't know. I don't disagree. Let me let me throw a team at you that might flip flop that record actually, Christian, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Best roster on paper in the whole league. I think we can all agree it's up there for each of us, one or two roster on paper wise. I don't have much else to say about this team. I just think they're going to be good. I think they're going to bounce back. I don't think they'll be in the Super Bowl, but I do got them winning 13 games and getting to the NFC Championship again.
I like that. I like that take. It's a tough team. They're loaded, from top to bottom.
And I really want to know what Matt has to say about Dallas because this is the what I hear on TV every week because how everyone's like a Dallas fan for some odd reason on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're fans. I think they like making fun of them, at least on ESPN.
It's just the talk. Like so I want to hear. What do you think?
Well, I will say this: not a big Dak Prescott fan. Never really was the biggest Dak
How about
Prescott
Deuce Vaughn?
fan. I think he reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson in the sense of he's had a good career so far, but you also have had one of the best rosters put around you every single season.
There's a difference
I think he'll
between
play
them.
better this year, but I don't know if the team itself will play better this year. I think Mike McCarthy's going to get fired after this year. I think that was kind of just written in stone after he had Zeke out there playing center last play of the game.
Protect your mans, Michigan. Protect your mans.
And I think I don't know. I think that they more than likely finish second in the division, but be careful because I think the Giants are going to be better this year too with all the additions they've had to not just the defensive side of the ball, but getting Darren Waller on offense. Second year right tackle, Andrew Thomas is a dog, but
That's a good segue. So break us down the Giants.
I have them. I was looking at the thing, and I just see 9-8, maybe 10 wins. I think they're going to be a good team. I'm glad they got Saquon a deal, so he can play. Like he'll play this year under that. Because without him, I think they would have struggled. But I like the pickups they did, like Waller. Him and Danny Dimes against Carolina in the preseason. They had that instant connection. I want to see if they can recreate some of the magic they had last year. I think it's going to be like a middle of the pack fighting for a wild card spot because I don't think they're dethroning the champs.
Yeah.
Not
I
the
also
Super Bowl
think
champs,
Daniel Jones is the second best quarterback in that division. I think if he had Dak Prescott situation, his career would look a lot differently at this point. Not saying they would win a Super Bowl or anything,
I think
but
it'd look worse.
I think it would look worse just because I don't think you'd have the correct coaching.
I don't think Daniel Jones is that great of a quarterback, personally. I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I like
feel
Dable and that coaching staff.
I just think last year was his first year with a competent coaching staff, and he actually showed what he can do. Had career numbers in every category, and can anybody say who their number one receiver was throughout the whole season? Because Sterling Shepard got hurt, and outside of that, Isaiah Hodgins had a good year for them. I mean,
that's true.
I like Jalen Hyatt.
I do like Jalen Hyatt a lot. I'm
saying. They
expecting
got
him to go pretty
Hyatt.
crazy.
Now they have Hyatt, Waller, Saquon. I'm high on the Giants this year.
And I guess that takes us down to
I
Washington.
was going to tell you exactly who I am not high on. It's the Washington Commanders, baby. So
The Commies.
with this team, they're starting second-year quarterback Sam Howell. I have no idea how that's really going to go, honestly, but I feel like he did decent last year. The couple games he did get in, he did okay. I still think he's going to have some hiccups along the way. That's for sure. He's basically coming in here almost as a rookie quarterback as far as playing in game. The defense is absolutely disgusting, though. That defense is so good, and I love the pickup of Emmanuel Forbes. That dude, I think he's gonna be good. I think their defense is gonna win them games. I see 7-10, 6-11 range, 7-6 wins.
Do you
Mainly
think?
because of their defense.
Do you think FedEx Field opens up the Pepsi cans for Ron one last time?
I don't
Do
know.
you think they all at once just do the Pepsi ice? Dave knows what I'm talking about. Leave us a comment in the comment section if you know what a commercial I'm talking about.
I think it'll be
I'm going to
different.
say probably not, but
So since we're going probably worst quarterback in that division, should we start out with the worst quarterback in the next division?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have the Chicago Bears.
You want to take the lead. Okay. See, this is the part of the podcast where Luke might hate us.
Yeah, he already does.
Luke, if you are watching, I am so sorry, man.
And it's all love. We wish success.
Well, the guy behind Dustin does not wish success because that one team that we don't talk about, we don't root for them. That's why
Nobody else is going to have any idea what we're talking about.
he just showed the M on his shirt.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's a Michigan fan.
That was hot.
So wait a second. They wouldn't know what we're talking about because we were talking about Justin Fields. We clearly he came from Ohio State.
Yeah, but I didn't know that we were talking about Michigan at any point. I thought it was just straight shit talk on Justin Fields.
Oh, my bad. I just don't think Justin Fields. He hasn't shown me anything that I can watch film of him and be like, wow, that guy's going to be a great quarterback. I can barely find you film that I can be like, wow, that guy's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
What about those inaccurate screen passes?
Bro, I saw everybody look at this stat line by Justin Fields. He had -2 yards net air that game. Every pass was behind the line of scrimmage other than one, and that one was 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. It was I don't know if who all watched that Bears first preseason game where he threw the screen pass to DJ Moore. Did you watch that, Christian? Well, Fuzz?
I saw the highlights of it, but I wasn't actually watching the game.
It was thrown behind DJ Moore. DJ Moore had to adjust to that, and DJ Moore, just being the playmaker he is,
got all the yards after.
I can't tell you if the screen pass to Herbert was bad because I don't remember if it was a little bit inaccurate or not. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
It was.
Did you say it was good?
But there were 2 linemen that were definitely downfield when he threw it, and they didn't call it. But
yeah. And then his other completion was 1 yard pass that the dude broke it for 20 yards. So I think it's an overreaction that people are doing. I hope for Bears fans that Justin Fields does turn out to be good. I like Justin Fields. I have no problem with him. I don't like the college he went to because I just don't like Ohio State. I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. They don't usually fare well in the NFL. I don't think any of us can name an Ohio State quarterback off the top of our head that in the past, since we've been alive, that has done good in the NFL. Other than Terrell Pryor, and he wasn't good at quarterback. He was good at receiver.
No, there's a better Big Ten quarterback in that division, and I think we let Fuzz let him know about Big Kirko.
Big Kirko. Yeah, so this defense has so many freaking holes in it. We're going to start there because I just want to get this out of the way. This defense has so many holes in it.
They should have
every game they get into is going to have to be a shootout. It's going to have to be. Oh my God, it's going to be miserable for them. I mean, they did trade out Pat Pete.
So you don't think they win these 3-point games they were losing they were getting lucky and winning last year?
I don't think they have the season that they had last year.
I think they find themselves on the other end of a lot of those games.
I agree. I do think their offense is going to be a very high-powered offense. I mean, obviously Justin Jefferson speaks for himself. That man, he is the best wide receiver in the NFL in my eyes. So he speaks for himself. Um, they let go of Dalvin Cook, and they're now going to be starting Alexander Madison, which I still think Madison's going to have a good year. I don't think he's going to be that bad.
But he's ain't no Dalvin Cook.
Jordan Addison, I don't even know how long this man's going to be playing. If he keeps getting in trouble going 140 miles an hour, dude's going to get himself in some trouble here. So he better chill out.
So with him, I was confused fully why they took receiver there.
I was very
Having
confused why
Justin
they did.
Jefferson.
I understood they did get rid of Adam Thielen. So I can understand the want for a wide receiver too, but I really like that KJ Osborne that they have over there because that dude, he had some really good plays last year. So I really liked him.
And
I think they could have gone something defensively.
I think that's what they need. They need most. Like, that's what cost them games last year was their defense.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think they're running a second-year safety. I don't remember his name. Cine, something crazy like that. But
I said Justin Fields is the worst quarterback Jordan Love might be.
Which is a great segue. Matt, how are we feeling about Green Bay?
I think they're just going to be average. I think they'll finish, depending on how bad the Vikings defense is, I think they'll finish either second or third in the division, which I just don't think the division's going to be very good outside of the Lions. But
I think that run game helps Jordan Love out a lot.
I think the run game, them having the two young receivers in Dobbs and Watts and the two young tight ends, healthy O-line this season, I think that their defense is due to take a step forward, and if not, then there may need to be some coaches about Matt LaFleur, just because you can't invest all these picks into your defense and constantly just be middle of the pack. If you're investing that much on the defense, your defense should look like how the Jets looks, like
improving dramatically.
Yeah, not just being middle of the pack and having to rely on Aaron Rodgers to win you games. I know he's not there now, but like that's how it was. So unless they're for me, it really just depends on their defense and Minnesota's defense where they finish. But I see them winning 9 games probably at most. Yeah, that's about it.
I guess that leaves it with me and the new owners of said division. I'm talking the mortgage was up. They put the sign in the front yard. Roger said he was selling it. And these are the first bidders I thought of. I think this young ass team is gonna win themselves about 11, anywhere from 10 to 12 games. I think they're the new owners of this division for the next year or so, couple years or so. The only question mark is Jared Goff, but I'm not a Jared Goff hater, so
There's some mid quarterbacks. I feel like in that division.
No, there definitely is, and that's why I like this Detroit team so much, is because Jared Goff doesn't have to be elite. He just has to be good. If he doesn't turn the ball over, I think they're truthfully one of the scariest teams to match up against. Like how they got hot at the end of the last season. If they would have made their playoff bid after winning that Packers game, it could have been a very different playoff picture last year.
Yeah.
But I got them winning about 11 games. Really like Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm excited to see Jameson Williams too.
After his
suspension.
Yes, after the suspension.
What is it?
6
not days, games.
Yeah.
6
days would be sweet. They wish it was days. They wish it was days. But that's a quick wrap up of the AFC and NFC and what we got this year. I agree with Dave. Let's jump into some award predictions. Christian, let's start with you. Go down your list. Give me your defensive player of the year for rookies and for just the normal award, and your MVP.
All right. Well, let me think here with that defensive player of the year. I think this goes against everything that I stand for as a Steelers fan. Everything. But I think it is only a matter of time before Myles Garrett gets his award. So I think this year, as much as I hate to say it, I think this year Myles
He's
Garrett's
trying
going to
to
go
smile
nuts.
back there.
I think,
He also finally has a supporting group around him on the D line.
yeah. So I think he's going to go absolutely disgusting. My
Okay.
offensive player of the year, it's hard for me to look away from that man in Minnesota because he's just crazy good. He's way too good. So I
I
think,
didn't think we were that high on Kirk Cousins.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No,
TJ
I definitely got
Hawkinson.
Justin. I got Justin Jefferson with that one.
I love it.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. My bias wants to say JPJ because of how he reacted after the draft, and he defended. He had a couple really good during practices, of course, so it's not the same, but he had some really good plays where he was locking up George Pickens, but George Pickens just does what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So
Goes like NBA young.
That's-
Offensive Rookie of the Year.
offensive Rookie of the Year. I like one of the two quarterbacks between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud.
Stroud.
I like one of those two. Yeah, I don't know exactly which. I just don't think Anthony Richardson's pass game is quite there to be up in the talks with like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. But I think I like I think I want to go more with. I want to go more with Bryce Young. I think he has a better team around him to get that. So that's going to be my take there. Is Bryce Young.
Okay. How about MVP? Who you got?
Oh shit! Oh yeah, no. This one, I debated on this one.
Kenny Pickett.
No, unfortunately, as much as I would like to say that, no. I love Mahomes in that spot, but something's just telling me that Joe Burrow's going to have to throw the ball this year. I just got this feeling, dude. I got this feeling it's going Joe Burrow's way. I don't know why.
Okay.
Most
Dave.
improved.
Oh yeah, most improved. I forgot that's an award.
That's already been common sense figured out. DeMar Hamlin's going to get that.
No,
Okay.
that's comeback player of the year. Most improved.
Oh, most improved.
Well, they don't have most improved in NFL.
Well, Gino got it.
Gino got comeback.
Yeah, Gino got comeback.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, they
my
like
bad.
tweaked the meaning behind it for him.
So
But yeah,
anyway,
comeback player of the year. So you got DeMar.
Comeback.
Okay.
I got DeMar Hamlin.
Okay. Alrighty, good picks. Dave, what do you got?
Okay. I'm going to start off with Offensive Player of the Year. It's a tough one for me, to be honest with you. Because there's just so many great offensive players. And, it seems like they always like to give the Offensive Player of the Year to the person that's not the MVP.
Yeah.
Because they usually,
it's almost as like the runner-up gets it.
And it's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
they usually try to stay away from quarterback, it seems like. So, I mean, Offensive Player of the Year. I think some people might like this one in this chat. I think Nick Chubb. And here's why.
It's a good take. Good take.
I think he's going to be more of a receiving back this year. I think he's going to get a lot more
Okay.
opportunities receiving the ball.
I'm not hating that at all.
He's already arguably the best rushing running back. And if he adds the receiving back to it, that's a breakout type year.
Yeah,
And I
big
think
time.
that can lead to Offensive Player of the Year.
And Hunt's not there to steal reps from him.
Who you got a defensive player of the year, Dave?
I don't think it will be Nick Bosa because I don't know when he's going to be playing. No. Defensive Player of the Year. I like the Myles Garrett take for you, and I really believe that could happen. I don't think it will, just because I can't. I don't think they win Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not saying it could happen. We just saw Offensive.
You're
Rookie of
just
the Year.
not gonna take.
You're
Yeah.
not banking
I
on
want to. I would put Chris Jones in that topic if he was playing Week 1, but we don't know if that's happening. So there's few people that I'm like they could win it if they were playing Week 1. So defensive player of the year. Recently, it seems like it's mostly like been a lot of people getting sacks and stuff as the defensive player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They're
So I want to go with Hassan Reddick for the Eagles.
Okay.
The
that.
dude has been overlooked so many years, from Arizona to Carolina to Philadelphia. He's just been overlooked for awards and just recognition.
And he was a freak last year.
Yeah, he was.
And
That one threw me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. For some part of me,
I like
thought he
that
was
though.
gonna
I
come
like
out like
it.
a
I
Michael
don't hate it.
Parsons, a T.J. Watt. I thought she was going that route, but
I'm
that
hoping
one's crazy.
I'm hoping Dark Horse could be like Brian Burns getting it, like him having that great of a season. But I want to be realistic.
Yeah, of course.
Not saying Brian Burns couldn't have that type of season, but I just think there's going to be other people that are contending for that
Mhm.
other than him. But so offensive rookie of the year, I'm going to go Bryce. I'm going to die on that. Like I'm going to be 100% biased.
I like that.
Like
Obviously.
I'm not going to like say it's not because you got to look at Bijan in that topic. You got to look at Flowers. Like there's so many
Richardson,
players.
just because of the rushing
Yeah.
yards he's gonna get.
Richardson. So like there's so many players you can look at and be like that guy's gonna be he could be in arguments for it. So but
Mhm.
I'm gonna ride with my quarterback and I think he could have one of the best rookie years for quarterback in a while.
I like that.
I like it. Way to ride with the squad, Dave. How you feeling about defense?
Defensive rookie of the year, Carter. Could win it. He's got but it's going to be difficult for him to win it for the fact that that defense is so stacked. They're going to take stats away from him. Who else is there? Who's the guy from the Raiders that I can't think of right now? That got
Tyree
drafted in the
Wilson.
first.
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, I heard that dude's been like dominating. Like I heard his first like snap in preseason like was just he wrecked the offense.
Yeah,
Doesn't
he was
mean
close to being the first defensive player pick just because his athletic capability.
yeah.
People, I just want to let our viewers know. Live and in person, warming up on the sideline right now is the third Manning we've all been waiting for, Arch Manning, about to take his first snaps as an official Longhorn at Texas. They're up 37-3, so it does not matter at all. But he's about to play some football.
That's what you like to hear. You love to hear that.
Keep the Manning name
Hey,
going.
if it's a Manning, we're gonna talk about it.
Of course.
And I could
All
see
right.
Joey Porter winning it, but
Joey Porter. But you got Jalen Carter.
yeah, I'm gonna go Jalen Carter. Like even though I have Hassan Reddick winning Defensive Player of the Year, I think Carter and to get Defensive Rookie of the Year, you don't have to put up as many stats as what you have to be to get the
No,
player.
yeah. And the way their
It's-
defense already plays.
Yeah,
Defense is nasty.
but I just like Carter so much. But there's so I don't know why like other names are like not in my head right now. I can't like think of other people. Then
Christian Gonzalez with the Pats.
yeah, I like
Witherspoon,
Christian Gonzalez.
I think he's in Seattle, correct?
But like I don't know. That's a tough division for him.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be a lot of good receivers he's guarding.
And you already gave your MVP, right?
Oh yeah, number 15.
Not a boy. All right, Matt. How you feeling?
Start with the rookie awards. I think defensive rookie of the year is going to be Will Anderson. I think
How did I forget about him?
I think offensive rookie of the year. I said Tank Dell earlier can be in the conversation. I think it's going to be between him, Bijan, and Zay Flowers. No disrespect to Bryce. I just think it's harder to. It's going to be harder for him to get the stats with like a fresh offense, new coaching group, and everything there when we know what Atlanta's O-line's like for Bijan with how their run game was last year. Lamar's never had a receiving threat like now, how he has Odell and Zay, and I think Zay's going to have a better season than Odell, which will be a big topic for the rookie of the year and shit like that. And I like Tank Dell just because he was probably my favorite receiver, like for value wise coming out of the draft, like where the Texans got him. But if I had to bet on one of them, I'm betting on Bijan just because that's the safest bet. But comeback player of the year, probably going to be DeMar Hamlin. If not, I could see Cooper Kupp getting it. Defensive player of the year, oh, shoot. I'm going to say Micah Parsons just because he was this close last year, and as a rookie, he was even in the defensive player of the year conversation. So I think that he's just due to have that season plus contract extension. Is going to be eligible, I think, after this year too, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's just due to have a crazy year for them. Offensive player of the year, I like your pick with Nick Chubb, but just out of not trying to be biased, I'm not going to say him. I'll probably just stick with Justin Jefferson because
He
I think
wanted to
them
be able to
getting
say that job.
I think them just getting Addison and having Hawkinson for a full season is going to do nothing but make defenses not be able to focus on Jefferson even more. So I just think
Of course.
he's going to get that. And then for MVP, see, MVP's tough because it's not just a stats award; it's also a wins and losses type of award too. Like you're not going to see necessarily whoever puts up the best stats win it every year. So I'm going to say Jalen Hurts just because he was on pace to do it last year. Probably would have if he didn't miss the 2 games and only play the one half of the last game, I think it was. So probably just go with Jalen Hurts for that because he has the most pieces returning. And I think that their defense is just going to be better and get him even more opportunities if that's even possible than what he had last year.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, he's gonna go wild.
And then I don't know if we're doing coach of the year and stuff, but they usually like to make that a most improved team award or just a first year head coach in a place
For me, that's
playing good
I think
award.
it's Dan Campbell.
I don't know if Dan will get it just because they had a big jump last season
But Dable got it
already.
because they made it the playoffs. So I think if Detroit makes the playoffs, that's
Well,
how he would get it.
I also think a big reason Dable got it is just because it was his first year as a head coach. Like Stefanski got his first year as a head coach when we made it to the playoffs. The year who won it the year before this season was it Sirianni when they made it to the playoffs his first year as a head coach.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
So I think that's more of a
Biggest
award,
record
obviously,
jump,
but,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
for that it's just tough. I'd probably just say
Frank.
Vrabel. Frank, it could be Frank actually, but I mean, who fucking knows, honestly.
I think Frank has a good chance as long as the Panthers do well for the fact that he got fired last year. But
On
I
TV,
can't
not.
even think of like first year head coaches right now because I don't think Gannon's going to get it. Obviously, with the Cardinals, I don't think fucking dude with the Colts can't remember his name. Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean,
For my rookies,
Ben Simmons.
I got Ben. I got Bijan Robinson winning the Rookie of the Year for offense. For defense, I like Will Anderson, but I don't know. There's just something about that the Patriots corners, and Bill knows how to like use them really well. Like when they first get out of the collegiate level. So I'm gonna go with a dark horse for that. I'm gonna go with Christian Gonzalez for my defensive player of the year.
I can see that.
Bijan, And then for offense and defense, I'm going Micah. That's who my pick was off rip. I agree with Matt. He's just been so close, and to like only get better like he has, he's due for it. And this one might touch close to home, but offensive player of the year. I think Christian McCaffrey stays healthy and gets it.
I can see that. Easily see that.
And I only say that because they are going with Brock, and Brock throws the smart throws. So, like, 23's getting the ball so much.
Oh, yeah.
And if he just stays healthy, that's who I got for Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, like you guys said, Jay Jets is hard to beat, but that's the only person I can see beating him.
Yeah, I agree.
But I got him, and then at MVP, I'm not taking the home cooking. I mean, I think he's the best player in the world, but I also think he's going to start getting that treatment where it just won't matter what he does. They're just going to give it to whoever else is the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I see that.
Which this season for me that looks like Jalen Hurts, but I'm not gonna swagger Jack, and I'm gonna go ahead and I alluded to this earlier. 5-time MVP,
I knew that you were gonna say
New York Jet quarterback, Mr. Rodgers. They beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I'm not going to pick the guy from Hard Knocks to score because it was almost too accurate. He said 31-21, the mentalist dude that went on there. But I really do think it's the Jets and the Niners.
I think he said that to me, Cole, though, because that was the score when you guys beat San Fran. Because he was on that team.
I don't think we beat him by 10, did we?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, we came back from 10 and still won by 10?
yeah, because what's his name? Damian Williams had that touchdown.
Oh, yeah, the last touchdown, yeah. He should have won Super Bowl MVP that year.
Yeah.
Not to hate, I mean, he just really should have. His numbers were way better than Mahomes' numbers in that game.
There's like, I wouldn't even have been sad with like Bolton winning it last year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just excited for football. It's good to be back. It's good to finally get started with the boys, with the show.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you all watching, and until next time, we got some fantasy for you next episode. We're gonna break down some of our fantasy drafts and our own unofficial fantasy league that we have going. We're gonna let you guys know how that one went. But until next time, we appreciate you, and we'll sign off for now.